What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to sit and go through my recent North Americans meet. We had a bunch of people asking to, do like a react kind of idea or to watch the meet on stream or whatever. And honestly, all we have is the footage pulled from the stream, really. So, yeah, we're just going to go through that, and I'll talk you all through the meet and how it went and, what was going on the day. And we'll use that as our kind of meet wrap-up video. So let's take a look.
Why don't we have footage
at the meet? Why don't we have footage?
180 kilos.
Because everybody died. Everybody who's gonna do media didn't end up doing media.
From Canada.
I love the different pronunciations of my last name by the streamers. Always, I think there's always like kind of a new one. This guy says Krychek.
That's how he says it the whole time.
That's how he says it the whole time. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I don't have like a super easy last name to say. Everybody would call you Jakovac.
Yeah.
So
I just live with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty used to it by now. So yeah, I mean 280. This moved about the way it should. Like I didn't really expect this to be heavy. My plan for this meet overall was to get, basically what I needed to get done without going over like a 8 RPE on my thirds.
World record holder.
So
drives that.
Yeah. The interesting thing, I mean, that one, as you can see, moved really well. The interesting thing was earlier in the sessions, the judges were back here, like they were almost back behind the lifter, which makes things look way worse for depth. So when I squatted, I was like, I need to squat super deep. So I squatted like probably deeper than I otherwise would have.
I think that looks good to me.
Yeah, but if the judges are like back behind the lifter, I think it makes it look like not as convincing. The other thing I was joking about was like, oh, I'll just walk back. I'll just walk the bar out until I'm like behind the judges so I get more generous depth calls. The other really interesting thing, like you see how that's so tilted in. If anybody was watching the stream, these bull racks need a serious redesign, because this piece that fits into the cross member normally is a full square with a square piece of iron that fits around it, but in the bull rack it comes out at an angle like this. So what happens is these uprights actually get bent in, and you'll see every attempt they'll push these uprights out, and it's not because racks are in, it's because this bull rack actually just kind of bows inwards as the session goes on.
Aren't bull racks like really expensive?
Well, the thing is that I think they're produced in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they're super expensive to get in North America because you're shipping all of that, right? So 298 was the Pan American record. My plan is to go 297, but yeah, I don't know. If you can chip for a record, and this wasn't the day where I was necessarily worried about like placing, but if you can ever chip for a record, do it, because your ability to chip can put you 0.5 kilos ahead of your competitor, and then they'll need to jump a full 2.5 kilos to overtake you. So generally speaking, if you can ever chip for a record to put a 0.5 kilo on your total, it's 100% worth it in a competitive setting. Now, Gino was there, and I couldn't not load 302.5. The other thing was that 298 felt worse than it looked. Even the 302 felt worse than it looked. Looking back, I was kind of being a big wuss with my squats, and that's maybe one thing that I regret, and one thing that I'll have to kind of know on the day in Sweden is that like my squat feels slower than it is. Like I probably could have squatted 307 or 310, which was my plan this day, and it would have moved about this well. But I was like, it's not feeling so good, and blah, blah, blah. You can hear Gino just screaming in the background about 666, the number of the beast. Gino, for anybody who doesn't know, is a powerlifting announcer. He's awesome. They were playing Iron Maiden's Number the Beast. Like they changed the music as soon as they were loading the bar for me, and Gino's like up out of his seat yelling at everybody, and it's a big spectacle. Another piece of advice: not only if you can chip, you should, but also if you can ever load 302.5 for something when Gino's there, you should as well. And again, like this felt good, felt nice and smooth. Depth was no question.
But isn't it good that you did less because you have Worlds coming up?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
like you still got first. So what would have 310, 350? Like
so the other thing
that
I had my eye on was the North American total record.
Oh.
Carry that forward. Now he's just got to lock
which
in
is,
a
I believe,
total
882 and a half.
Solidify that in the record books.
And I think I totaled like 877 and a half or 870 something at this meet. So my plan with all my numbers was to total 885 and take 2.5 over the North American record.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you get into these like different sort of international federations, like there's NAPF, North American records, there's Pan American records, which is what that squat was. It was a Pan American record, which is why I could chip it. Because this meet didn't end up including the States, I think they invited other Central and South American countries, and then by the time we competed, it was Pan Ams as opposed to North Americans.
Yeah, it looks like the rack is...
Yeah, you can see even on the bench, like the rack's bowed in, right? Like you can see, like it's like racks in bench here. So leading into this meet, my shoulders were really in a bad way, really beat up. I think until maybe, these press commands for my first two were absolutely touch and go.
Fast.
Which I was super happy about, but then I had to pause my third and it threw me off a little bit. But yeah, heading into this meet, I really wasn't able to train my bench very much. I was having trouble benching like 40 kilos some days, 70 kilos many days. And I think I got up to 180 like once in 2 months leading up to this meet. So, yeah, I mean, this 195 or 190, sorry, was definitely harder than I had hoped. But given the fact that I hadn't been able to train my bench for so long, I think it was okay. And yeah, I think, again, this rep was pretty touch and go. Like, this was the heaviest weight I had in my hands for a long time. No, there's a little bit of pause on that one.
The first one was fast, though.
Yeah, the head ref was throwing out some real touch and go stuff. And 190. I really need to bench more. That's probably one of my biggest goals for Worlds is to bench like a decent amount more.
Like 210?
205, 210, yeah. I benched 200 in June of the last year at like an 8 RPE. So I know if I can get the bench training in, that it'll be there. You know, this heavier body weight obviously favors benching better.
The record must be pretty high in your weight class for bench.
For bench? Oh,
like
yeah.
The world record?
Yeah. Well, Eric benched 255, and I don't even know if he was that close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like the longest pause I had of the day. And 190 being a bit of a struggle was a bummer because that was probably a 9.5 RP, and I had hoped to pretty much be able to do everything at like an 8, but I don't know, I didn't miss, so that's a win.
Mr. Perfect.
Yeah. The plan for the day initially was to open at like 342 or 347 or something, and not actually take the world record till my third, and finish on like 380.
That's so boring.
Well, that's what I was thinking, was like,
you should have opened at the world record and then gone up from there.
But again, like, what's the point?
To push it even further.
Well, I'll push it further in Sweden.
You could have done, 372 or 3, whatever it was.
373.
And then 385 and then 400.
I don't want to try 400 at North Americans, though. Like, I was very happy with how deadlifts went because I pulled my third and it was like at 7.
I was watching on my phone and I thought the stream froze at one point, but you were just taking so long
to set up.
Yeah.
That's me setting my hook grip. It makes Selena so worked up every time because I get so close to like running the clock down. So previous to this attempt, first off, they forgot the chips. They forgot to put the chips on. So they had to unload it. So this is the open world record. It's 372.5. This is 373. And I asked after my first, I was like, just move it to the back of the platform, right? Because there was a little lip in the platform. I could kind of feel it under my feet on my first. I was like, you just move it to the back of the platform. We're all good. And they ended up like, I don't know if there was some sort of miscommunication, but they were going to like get a vacuum cleaner to vacuum the platform. And then the vacuum didn't work. And there was just like a whole bunch of kerfuffle around this attempt. So I was waiting for a while to get out and get this attempt. But, again, this is something that I hit I counted, and I hit within 2% of this, no lower than 2% of this, at this or over this, 14 times in training in the months leading up to this. So I was pretty confident on loading this for a second, you know, and likely could have had more on my third. So the other thing is the bull bar has a little bit more whip. You'll see it actually bow probably a little bit more than an Ohio Power Bar or an Alico competition bar would. So I think that's something I'll have to take into account and take into consideration when it comes to, yeah, see, they're like...
How is this a world record? Thor pulled 500.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comments of people saying that.
Oh, I think I only saw one.
I think there's like 3.
Oh, okay.
3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, we went over that in our last video, right? Like Thor and Eddie certainly don't compete drug tested. I'm not using straps. I'm not using a suit. I'm not hitching. Like, you know, and I did other lifts beforehand. Eddie just, like, I think pretty much deadlifted that day.
Was the platform even dirty? Like, did it even need to be vacuumed?
I didn't think so. That's why all I wanted was just like, just move the bar to the back. I'm all good.
So here he goes. Bar's called and ready. Clock has started. Here we go.
So at this point, I'm 2.5 kilos shy of my best total. With only the 355. So it was a nice big PR total at the end of the day here. And yeah, I take 40 seconds to set my hook grip. The other thing I did on this day that I was happy I did was I actually warmed up with hook.
Yeah, that's
in the back room.
What you
and
did
I
in
think
the last video.
I think that made it a lot more consistent. Like I kind of knew exactly where I wanted it.
Gets it moving up, locks it out, makes that look easy.
And on that attempt, I actually tore my hand open a little bit on my second.
I feel like your the side angles that they show, you look way more locked out than what I normally see in the gym. But
yeah, maybe
an angle or something. But
we also don't normally show many of my
everything looks so
from that
solid
angle.
this day for your deadlifts.
Yeah, my pull felt super friggin' good. I hope it's not just the bull bar being a pool noodle.
Is the moon that far?
Oh, there's our media team.
Oh yeah, yeah, Sarah and Ron. Yeah, so again, the plan was to, I think, go just 380 on the third and have not broken the world record by my second. But on the day, I was like, you know what? Heck it. So I upped my opener by 7.5, broke the world record on my second, and then pushed it a little further on my third here.
Everyone in the Discord wanted you to do like 400 in the back.
Yeah.
4th attempt.
Yeah, there was a clip of Taylor like yelling about it into his phone. He was like, "What was that? What the hell was that? That was stupid. Somebody put 400 on the bar in the back room for this guy."
848 3/4 pounds.
It looks like you would probably have it.
Trying to increase
his
15
kilos.
Record.
It's tough to say at that range, man. Like
it looks. So
I'm a lifter where things are fast until they aren't. A lot of the times, you know.
Yeah,
I think the only time I ever really grinded a sumo pull was the first time I pulled 375 in 2018 raw at nationals, and it was like slow. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody's pulled 900 raw in the IPF yet. So, man, if there's any chance I can load 408.5 at Worlds, like.
Open world record.
Might just be going for it.
Well, now that's just a stretch. 408.
Oh. Yeah, now we're pushing things too far. But yeah, pull felt really good. Felt like I had plenty more in the tank.
The crowd is in awe. The speed that goes up to lockout.
That judge. I don't know if you can see on my second.
It goes from here.
My second, this guy here shakes his head like violently as the bar hits the floor. He's like, "That's just stupid." Yeah. So yeah, that was the competition. We're getting ready already. I'm just finished my second session of 2 of this washout week, and starting on Monday, back into training, getting ready for Sweden. So
in like 5 weeks.
Yeah, 5 weeks. 5 weeks we'll be competing at the World Championships in Sweden, and hopefully putting up a much bigger total. Anyways, everybody, we hope you enjoyed the meet wrap up, and let me know if you have any questions below, and we'll be back to doing some training vlogs and form checks and all that kind of good stuff. Quick note about the space. We should be on track for October 1st to get into our new space. I'll be in Sweden on October 1st.
Oh, no.
So
I'll just be in there alone skateboarding.
Dylan will be moving everything in by himself, or just skateboarding in an empty
You'll come
gym.
back, and there's just like half
just
pipes
vert ramps and all kinds of crap in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they should be starting construction on it soon. They're going through zoning. We're getting like a final drawing of how construction's going to look in there. So very excited about all that. But anyways, this video is like 20 minutes now, so let's cut it off. We'll see everybody in the next one. Peace.